expect about 1.1 million votes to be cast, and we've got 627,000 votes. That's more than half the votes that are going to be counted in this election. We're going to call it for John Bel Edwards.
Clancy's latest assignment, he's the election night political analyst on Channel 4, where his 45 years of experience comes into play.
He tells you what you need to know, and he tells you what you might not have known.
Things are changing every few minutes, and you don't know where it's going, and then you have to be able to explain it. And I don't think there's anybody better than he in doing that.
He knows the players, he knows the storylines, and he can kind of stitch it all together for you in just a few sentences.
He's the kind of journalist, honestly, that serves his viewer, and the viewer is served by him. And I mean, I don't know what more you could ask.
I've been exposed to a lot of election night coverage in different parts of the country, and I don't think there's anybody in the country who can do it any better.
Clancy DuBos has made it look easy since 1973. The Times-Picayune ran an editorial he wrote while he was still a student at Holy Cross High School. Then, after 1 year at UNO, he got his first job at the paper. His Holy Cross classmate and friend, Frank Donzi, remembers.
Clancy always had that confidence, even back then I can remember. You know, Clancy was not a shy guy.
A few years later, Donzi would join his friend at the Picayune, and DuBos established his reputation quickly.
He wasn't afraid of anything. He wasn't afraid of tackling any story. It was whether it was a big fire or a murder or getting sent over to the courthouse or getting sent over to City Hall. He was game.
Clancy stayed at the Picayune for roughly 8 years, gradually moving more and more into political reporting, aside from a brief stint when Ron Fauché hired him to write for New Orleans Magazine.
Well, I think he's a terrific writer, and I think he was a very good writer in his early days at the Picayune and also working with us at the magazine. And then he went back to the Picayune and was really a superb writer.
Then Clancy pivoted to TV.
Nancy, the scene here at the airport is one of grim contrasts.
In 1981, DuBos became a reporter for WDSU. Joe Duke was a photographer at Channel 6 then, and later the assignment editor.
I knew him as a great reporter, but making that TV transition, I didn't know whether he was going to or not, but he was like a natural.
Clancy DuBos, News Center 6.
And then his presentation was always good. He was good live because he knew what he was talking about.
While he was at WDSU, Clancy started writing Gambit's political column. And in 1991, he and his wife, Margot, bought Gambit.
He would always joke to me when I would say, why are you doing this? And he would say, don't worry, Margot will handle all the business side of it. He said, Margot has what it takes to do this.
Together, they built Gambit into one of America's most successful alt-weekly newspapers.
They're a great team. I think they have a very, business-wise, they have a very symbiotic relationship, and I think they each have their roles, and they do it.
And for more than 36 years now, the focal point of Gambit has been Clancy's weekly political column.
It takes a good political reporter to understand the system, and it takes a good political reporter to understand the people in the system. But it takes a great political reporter to understand both the system and the people. And I think Clancy is a great political reporter because he can do that.
One of Clancy's strengths is I look at that weekly column and there's not a lot of space there, but he somehow manages to do it in a very, very limited amount of words. That's a skill that's rare, and he has mastered that in his Gambit column, I think.
Well, I think in terms of his political career, it means his political career is virtually over.
In 1991, he moved to WVUE as their political analyst. In '93, he graduated from Loyola Law School. He practiced law for about 2 years, but went back to Gambit full-time in 1996. In 2007, he moved to WWL-TV as its political analyst. Fast forward to earlier this year when he and Margot sold Gambit to the Georgias Media Group. But Clancy continues to write his weekly politics column. From print to television to magazines, Clancy DuBos has been a force as a Louisiana political reporter for more than 4 decades.
I think the variety of things that Clancy can do and has done successfully is really unusual, and it's very impressive.
I mean, he's worn many hats, and he's excelled each time he's put one on.
The ABCs in journalism, whether it's print or electronic, is accuracy, balance, and clarity. And I think Clancy has mastered those three. He's an accurate reporter, he's a balanced reporter, and what you hear him say on the air and what you hear him write is clear as a bell.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our recipient of the Press Club of New Orleans Lifetime Achievement Award, Clancy DuBos.